Star Citizen Alpha 3.17 is the next major patch for the Persistent Universe, and it's planned for the end of Q1 2022. We are expecting a 3.16.1 patch at the beginning of the year, which will have a lot of little bits and bobs, improving the 3.16 branch, but this 3.17 branch has a huge amount of features in currently. Now, we know that Cloud Imperium, although they may target a patch at the end of Q1 2022, at the end of March, that doesn't always happen to be a live release. Sometimes they have an open PTU and test well beyond that before making them live. And I wanted to talk about what to expect in that patch currently, as it's quite a lot, partly because of a smaller 3.16 patch at the end of the year, and now hopefully some of those features are now coming to fruition. Now, some of these features might slip though, or not be ready for the patch, so bear that in mind. But there are also conversely other various events and features that might turn up too. So let's start with what's planned for the patch on the roadmap, so what is targeted. There is a major change with persistent hangars that will allow players to own their own. So this will bring changes to the cargo gameplay loop by allowing players to buy cargo and send it to their hangars, and then maximize their cargo storage space by allowing them to pack the goods themselves. So costs and times associated with cargo buying and selling are expected here, and there are also expectations of customization and purchase of additional space at these hangars, though we don't know exactly what will come in with this implementation, if all of that will come at the same time. Some of it's planned for now and some of it's planned throughout the year. This also prepares the way for the cargo overhaul that is planned to come with Alpha 3.18. We do know that with these persistent hangars as well, there is going to be a Moby-class manager app that emulates the functionality of ASOP terminals, allowing players to spawn ships, claim insurance, and access the array of landing services to maintain their ships. It has been suggested that it is very sensible and practical for them to also at the same time put ship or vehicle in ship spawning in here. That is a maybe. We don't know that for sure. Does look sensible to do though. The feature I think I'm most looking forward to in 3.17 is selling items to shops. You may say, we already have that in-game, but this is expanding out the system to allow you to sell items from your local and ship inventory, like weapons, armor, loot that you've found on bodies and chests. So lots and lots of different types of gear, a much wider variety of, usable stuff that you can then sell, which gives you a lot more reason to loot after a fight or to look around areas for greater rewards. Jump down after a long fight and a long sort of time it producing narcotics and then stopping producing narcotics might still be worth looting for a while if there are enough bodies there and you can get people to take their loot back. A feature that was originally pushed from 3.16 that now lies here as well is DNA and head updates for characters. This should provide more variety in faces and their features, so you can expect some better customization as well for characters. I think that's pretty cool. People like more customization in games, right? Not sure if it's going to have any sort of like new hairstyles or facial hair, but it might. The Maria Pure of Heart Hospital is being added to the Lorville landing zone. This means it has all the facilities of other landing zones, at least in regards to medical gameplay and respawning, healing and purchasing equipment like the medical gun, which is important. That will complete the major medical facilities needed in the standard system as well, though I think we could see infirmaries, like very minor small clinics, sort of pop up around places like Klesha Prison, for example. Again, another feature originally in 3.16 but moved to 3.17 here are mining gadgets. These have you EVAing out of your ship or approaching a mineable in whatever way, like on the ground, whatever, and then deploying that gadget on the mineable, clink, and then you will have to sort of tune the gadget with like a little mini game, touching the UI, making the waveform match, bam, to make that sort of perform optimally. And there are various gadgets that give different buffs and efficiencies when you are mining rocks. So you're going to be able to mine lots of different types of rock, more rocks, and get better efficiency out of rocks. If you're a solo miner, this might be absolutely fantastic for you, because some rocks were just prohibitive to mine before, and now you can do that. But you are going to have to get out of your ship and fiddle with your gadget, and that might make you and your ship quite vulnerable. So if you're in a prospector, maybe that's not ideal, or maybe it is. Let's see how it works. I do think it's going to make mining potentially a lot more profitable, and it helps expand out the loop even further. Ship-to-ship refueling is another potentially quite major feature here. It's going to get a lot of buff and polish in addition to it in the future, but Cloud Imperium said it was essential to get ship-to-ship refueling in before they have the pyro system in. And that's a new star system, which I'm very much looking forward to. It's a good sign that they're getting ship-to-ship refueling in now. But the feature here will allow players with ships like the Starfarer to refuel other ships and potentially get paid for it. You can fill up your fuel tanks at stations and landing zones and in your Starfarer, and then ferry it to the needy. Could we get more ships that we're able to do this with? Yeah, potentially. We do know there's obviously ships that are already planned, like the Vulcan, that has drone refueling, and there's going to be hand refueling in-game as well. There's also the Mighty Kraken and other ships like that, which are basically space stations with facilities for refueling. What we do know of the Starfarer refueling is that it will use a refueling arm, and it's expected to be a bit like the snub docking with the P-52 and the Connie, so that you sort of go, I want to dock with this refueling arm pink, and it sort of connects you. That's the sort of way we think it's going to work. This should allow the Starfarer to sell fuel to other stations for a profit as well. We are expecting at some point the Starfarer is going to get a bit more modularity, and you will be able to choose what sort of containers that you have with it. Are you going to have sort of refineries on board the Starfarer, or just fuel containers for mass sort of transport and refueling with that fuel, that sort of thing. Don't know if that's coming with 3.17 though. Maybe it will. You want to be a taxi driver? Well, we have NPC taxi missions being added. NPCs will request transport between rest stops in that mission type, with rewards determined by the speed, safety, and comfort in which the player delivers the NPCs to their destination. So this is incredibly important as a milestone, as it allows NPCs to be able to traverse from ground to ship and then get off at their destination, which will eventually be used in a huge amount of missions, bounty hunting, rescues, etc. VIP sort of transport missions, with the 600i and the 890 jump having a lot more purpose. Cloud Imperium are also trying to improve the interaction experience with a holistic array of complementary features and systems, all directly related to the player, so player status, item status, environment status, as well as interactions with both the game world and objects within it are covered under these systems. Expect better tooltips and mission tracking, a better cockpit experience, all that sort of jazz. But also, we know that Cloud Imperium have been working on various combat sort of balance things. They're trying to sort of get the combat experience into a good state, as well as just the general flight experience. Lots of stuff like that is going to be being worked on, not just for this patch, but lots and more in the future. But it's obviously a big umbrella term feature that they've got here with the interaction experience improvements. We have the RSA Scorpius Heavy Fighter potentially being released here. It's a two-seater X-Wing looking ship. It's a bit sort of morphable with a lot of firepower, and the co-pilot controls a mobile turret that can move from the top of the ship to the rear of the ship and then shoot pursuing targets, or bring the firepower to bear at ships to the side or front or whatever. There's also the MISC Hull A, which is the first of the Hull series of ships to get into the game, and is an entry-level cargo hauler. You can expect a lot more bug fixes, balance, and tweaks too. It's very likely that we'll see some more component variants for ships, new missions making use of some or all of the new gameplay features that we discussed here. There are a few other maybes that might turn up in this patch that aren't on the roadmap for it at the moment. So we know that there's a consolidated Outland hoverbike. That's possibly something that could be released here. There's rumours of that new mobile refinery ship. That could turn up here too. Something that was left out of 3.16 was the quantum system, the Quanta updates, the Dynamic Universe system updates that they had planned. So that could be a 3.17 feature. Basically having the fuel and repair prices affected by what's happening in game, as well as encounters. That's sort of being affected by what's happening in game as well, and being appropriate to the area. Star Citizen is very pro-event at the moment as well, so obviously at the moment we have the Ninetales Lockdown and Jumptown 2.0 in-game. I'm actually expecting to see Xenothreat 3.0 in the new year, or in this 3.17 branch, with a whole host of improvements. I'm very excited to see that, because Jumptown version 2 was the best fun I've had in Star Citizen to date, I think. Absolutely fantastic event. Also, Fleet Week should be part of the 3.17 cycle, which we should see at the end of May, typically lasting 10 days to 2 weeks sort of thing. It's a massive event with ship sales and expo where you try ships for free, all focusing on combat ships and UE sort of navy ships and that sort of stuff. Star Citizen is likely going to be free to play here as well. Now, the last Fleet Week also had a Bengal Carrier flying around, and the UE fleet flying around with it, which is ridiculously large ship, that Bengal carrier, and the fleet's just cool because you get to see like F8s and some ships that you might not normally see. We also could tour the internals of a Javelin, and there was voice actors doing that there as well. We could see some new things to do, or just the same again, which would still be cool with the new Fleet Week. There are various features that are also being worked on that we can see on the progress tracker that will see completion potentially in Q1 2022, or have even seen completion in Q4 2021. Now, some of these could turn up in the patch too, but Cloud Imperium's new release strategy means that they typically go into testing and sort of work goes into improving them and having tangible gameplay added for the Persistent Universe for them in the sort of Squadron 42 branch before being sent to the Persistent Universe. So bear that in mind. Also, we will discuss all of that sort of work and what's on the progress tracker and what that actually means in another video. Anyway, what do you think? Will all of these features be in 3.17? What do you think might slip? Do you think anything else will turn up? Could we see Xenothreat 3.0 like I think? What are you most looking forward to in that patch? Are you going to be collecting gear and items now in the hope that there isn't a wipe for 3.17? And do you want to be a taxi driver? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Ho ho ho, I'm a fat man with a beard, and I'm gonna sneak down your chimney and give you...
NordVPN. That's right, I'm Bored Gamer. I am that fat man with a beard. And it's Nordmus. So what do you want in your stocking for Nordmus, little Timmy? I want NordVPN, with its useful security, privacy and locational spoofing features. I also want a racing car set. Of course you do, but as I'm not sponsored by Racing Car Set, maybe you should shut your little mouth, Tim. Merry Nordmus! For December, we are giving away an Origin 400i with a Star Citizen game package and lifetime insurance. This is a luxury multi-role explorer ship for 1 to 3 players to run together. It's like a little yacht in space. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during December. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider clicking that join button underneath my videos. You can also become a Patreon or even donate. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care, and I'll see you in the verse.